In today's session, this Saturday and this Sunday, I shall attempt to focus more time on yet another way of going about preparing for our speeches. And that is to use questions. You will recall that in the first three sessions, we attempted to use stories as a strong handle for us to have a powerful opening, to beef up our body of our speech, and even to end it. So now let's adjourn or advance even into another technique, which is also here to help us start, beef up the middle, and even end forcefully. It is said that with every prepared speech, we want to start with a very intriguing way so that people's attention will be captured, and therefore their interest would very likely be piqued for us to get into the middle part of our speech, which would have to be substantial, like the patty in the burger. So substantial that people find it juicy, people find it, wow, irresistible. The question is, how do we do that? And the same question we had as we move into the end. We would like a speech to end on a very forceful and highly memorable one, so that people will be touched by you, not just by what you say, but even more so by how you make them feel. We have talked about how stories can help us achieve that, and I shall leave it to you to practice as much as I would likely have to do so continuously in order to be good at it, not just knowing, but actually doing. So today we move on into yet another technique, which I found to be very useful in helping me start, beef up the middle, and end forcefully, and that is with questions. With that, I also want to do this. On this occasion of the Chinese New Year, to thank everyone who had given me their good wishes. In fact, right from last evening till a few hours ago when I managed to get a nap, I have received many greetings, and you might think that these are the usual greetings, videos, pictures, words over the various messaging app like WhatsApp, Telegram. You're right on that. It looks like that. But I think more importantly is it makes me reminisce me growing up. I grew up in a very simple family living in a HDB 3-room flat. My father and mother, they work hard to make ends meet. And my grandmother, she doesn't work. She looked after us. In fact, she took turns to look after her grandchildren at my dad's place, and as well as my elder uncle and my younger aunt. She is a reservoir of stories. She would, at festive season like Chinese New Year, and especially the final day, which is the reunion dinner, after dinner to sit with us and tell us stories, many of whom she would repeat about the Japanese occupation, about how she single-handedly raised 3 children. One very specific one was so hungry they were, and they were not without any food during the Japanese occupation, that she could risk her life going to the roadside and so on, and join a few other women to really pluck some what look like tapioca or stuff, just bring home. Little did I know that these are the things we have now become celebrity chips. You know, those celebrity chips that we now can find in the airport and so very proudly will bring overseas to give to people, and in fact to buy more when we see more of it. Well, there were no such chips before. All we had was things that we had to pluck, risking their lives for it, for something that cost next to nothing. Now, it would be something. I think times really have changed, but what has not changed are the powerful influence of stories. stories of we growing up, stories of we never experiencing, but only to just lie down there in front of a fan and hear Granny in a very animated way talk about it. She seems to repeat herself, year after year, but we never cease to be amazed by her wealth of stories and the emotions she could inject into it. Most of which is to encourage us to cherish everything that we have now. Now, it is with the same feeling that I address those greetings, most of whom I have not replied yet since last evening till just now. Wishing me a great year of the snake, wishing me the best in my endeavors. You know that because you would have been receiving or even sending a lot of it. I want to take this opportunity to thank you. You remind me of those very warm moments. And these things don't perish. They are the living encouragement. I don't have to wait till the festive season to hear this from you, nor festive season for me to send these to you. But I know very well that these are so familiar, so warm. It's almost like the kind of sense of cocoon that we get, the sense of safety and comfort, like a safe harbor in the presence of our elders. And I enjoy that distinctly at festive season when all the senior relatives are there, repeating the stories year after year. And I wish you a very warm, engaging, and interesting year. And if you want to add something else like stylish, forceful, influential, by all means do that. In the spirit of the snake, which is so very resourceful and is so very powerful. So be the best we can be. I want to thank you for that. And with that, let's start. Hello, Jusian. Welcome to the Zoom. And for our friends who are in the live stream now, welcome to my live stream. I'll continue. What I've just done is a recapitulation of how stories could help us in a speech that we want to prepare to offer to people, to help them also relate to us, make us relatable, that is. Make us even be engaging at the beginning of a speech, middle, and even ending, especially in the beginning. The Chinese have this saying, if you have a good start, you'll have half of the project taken care of, or the half of the exposition taken care of. 好的开始，成功的一半。好的开始，成功的一半。So why don't we have a powerful start? So today, what else can we do with a powerful start? I'm going to refer you to some notes that I've shared in the chat group. Those in the live stream do not have that, but those in the Zoom would have the chat group. We talk about the art of public speaking. I even ask you to guess where the source of the material is. I will continue to let you guess until you really have to know the answers, all right? So with Jusian, now that you are here, you have two choices. One is, of course, remain the way you are and listen intently and do whatever you want to improve yourself. And the other one is a suggestion that if it doesn't cause you too much of a discomfort or inconvenience, to turn on, therefore, your video and to come prepared to speak, all right? Whichever it is, one or two, right? You can just keep it at this and no response if it is one, and if it's two, you can just type into your chat space or just go ahead and turn on your video and turn on your mic if you want to, whenever you want to speak. It is okay to interrupt. I won't call that an interruption, I'll call that an engagement if you want to do that. All right, now into questions. So it will start this way. A pain point that has been often brought up to me, including the previous session. It goes like this. How many of you find that public speaking is a very scary engagement? Raise your hand if you do. I repeat. How about starting a speech this way? How many of you find that public speaking is a scary engagement? Raise your hand. So at this point, if I'm in a hall like this, standing on the stage, and just throw out a question. No, notice I have not done this. Hello everybody, I am Terry Lee. I'm very honored to be here. Just start with, how many of you, a show of hands, find that public speaking is a scary engagement? Raise your hand. So some people would, some people not. But I believe with a confident voice and certain hand gestures to guide you, people will notice that you're asking a question. And what would they do? For any well-meaning person, just like the people who would send greetings on festive season, would at least pay some attention to you, clothing, the way you look, or the way you smell. Yeah, maybe all the above, but definitely the sound of what you just asked. What did I do? I asked a question. I asked a question. Does the question have to be answered? Yes. Does it must be answered? Not really. You can choose to answer, you can choose not to answer. The magic of a question is it makes people sit up. That's like at home. Hey, those with me, those like me who have a child or children, growing up with them, you notice that they may not respond to you, but they actually listen. How do you know? Well, when they talk back, when they follow what you want to do. Or when they seem not to listen because they look like they're busy doing something else, but later in life, they can do it. Like what? Like the first day of Chinese New Year, how do they know what to say to their elders? 新年快乐，万事如意，蛇年大吉, something like that. Is it because we lecture them, we tell them, we drill them? Whatever it is, they have listened something, and it influenced them. So likewise in a speech, if we are thinking that it's so hard to stand in front of an audience and speak, think of something that can help you. I call them the handles. Just like when we're walking in the dark, it's good to have a handle and slowly walk and advance. So we talk about stories being a good way, but talk about questions. I find questions very useful. Do you think so? If so, respond in a manner that you find useful to affirm that. So in live stream, we do a 666, we do a yes, we do a why, and whatever. You can respond. The magic of it is whether you respond or not, and I see a thumbs up from Zhixian. Oh, thank you. Whether you respond or not, you have to raise your attention. And that's what you want to do in a speech. Do not need to stress out over whether people jump from one chair to another with you. We're not Anthony Robbins. Well, not yet. But we, like Anthony Robbins of the world, we can actually capture people's attention. So today, in a very short start like this, I want to trigger some thought that why are we asking questions? Why are we speaking? Now, I'm sure you have a reason for speaking, whether you're arrowed to do it, as in you are asked to do it. But I think more importantly is we want to do it. It helps us by speaking better, communicate better. And by communicating better, we become a better leader. And by being a leader, we are able to advance certain thoughts, interests, and beliefs. And that includes helping people becoming a better version of themselves, whichever it is. And a car salesman would tell me that none of this above, I just want to get good commission from selling cool cars. So be it. So be it. But we all have our needs. You want to lead by example at home, so you want to speak. We ask ourselves, how do we speak in a manner that people will sit up and listen? So let's start with getting their attention. Ask yourself, did I just not capture attention when I told stories about my grandma, repeating her stories year after year at reunion dinner? Did I not? So I ask you a question. And then I ask you another question. I say, how many of you find that standing in front of an audience and speaking to them is a scary engagement? And some raise your hand. You either raise your hand in your heart, you thumbs up in the Zoom, or you raise your hand indicating that in a live stream, whatever. Or in a live stage that people will respond to you. Even in the British Parliament, when Winston Churchill spoke, and there was a time which I think more and more of us will realize that, oh, even in Parliament, people reply with aye or nay. Aye is yes, A-Y-E. Nay is N-A-Y, no. Aye or nay. Aye, nay, nay. We respond. But we respond to questions, don't you realize? It's easier to respond to questions. Some questions are simply yes or no. Like I ask you, hey, who find it scary to speak to an audience in public? So that action of raising your hand means yes, me. And if you don't, maybe the answer is no. Maybe the answer is maybe. Maybe the answer is, well, I've yet to be paying attention to you. That's possible. But at least we got a start. Okay, the start is in asking a question. And why do we want to ask a question? There are 5 reasons we ask questions. And all these 5 reasons can be construed as very important to a speech, to we communicating and to we even leading people. So there are various goals or stages. And I like to start and stay with just speaking. So when I ask a question in a speech, I'm trying to get attention. And such questions, we can choose to be provocative. Was I being provocative? Well, I didn't mean to, but it might have provoked you to think about, oh no, that scary thing again, don't tell me about it. Something I need to do, which is speak to the board of directors, but something that I really hate doing because it seems like so hard. So a provocative question is something that challenges people to really think. So another question which I may just suggest to you could be, what if everything you knew about success was wrong? Hey, what if everything you knew about success is wrong? So you might be thinking, oh, someone told me, my granny told me, work hard, diligence, hard work is a key to success. What if this is wrong? Or what if this is not entirely right? What if working hard does not give you success? However, not working hard at all will guarantee that you won't be anywhere near success at all. So what if the concept of success is that you got to work hard just to be on the road to success? But if you don't even do that, you don't stand a given chance at all. You don't stand a slim chance at all. No chance. Which means this very moment you get challenged and you be curious to know, well then if not this, then what is? What if everything you know about success is wrong? Does that not grab your attention? Does that not want you to sit up and say, oh no, don't tell me that again? What we have just produced in the form of a question in a speech, in the case of an opening like that, is that we serve up a hook. We draw them, the audience, to pay attention. So think about that, all right? What is the kind of question? It's a provocative question. Usually start with what if? What if? So now we have 2 questions tonight, right? The first question was, how many of you find that speaking in public is scary? But could it be another type of question? Yes, the what if, provocative question. Provoke you to think, right? So if you're taking notes now, you take down the notes of, okay, next time I'm going to do a speech, or I'm going to do a speech tomorrow, yeah? And I'm going to incorporate a question in the opening just to provoke people to think so that they pay me attention. Someone asked me, am I in a church? No, this background here is not a church. This background here is in the China Culture Center. The Singapore China Culture Center is on Queen Street. Yeah, it is in the company of many churches, 217 Queen Street. I was there a couple of days ago, over the weekend, Saturday, as an MC. I'm the Mandarin MC. There were 2, 1 man, 1 lady. So you can imagine I filled the role of the man from Singapore, and the lady is from China. All right, so I took a picture of that. This serves us as my virtual background. At this point, I'm not in that place. I'm just using a virtual background, but it kind of gives us a sense of where we are. Okay, I'm referring to the live stream audience. As for my audience in the Zoom, you will just see a blurred background, but it's fine. Okay, good. Thank you for the question. We stop to answer questions, even if they're not entirely related to that questions I'm asking now. These are all okay. Very good. Just keep at it, people. I mentioned 5. What I've just introduced to you is using questions to have a good start. And every time you start, we need attention. Like, try to get attention, aren't you? Hello, everybody. I am Terry Lee. You're trying to get attention. It's just whether it is clear or effective or not. And we would like to be more effective. So what do? We ask a provocative question. Or we just ask any question. And you get to calibrate. You get to practice. Like Jusian, I believe you are here tonight because you want to start getting some ideas of how you can do better with your own speech. And let's start with the beginning of the speech. Let's start with the objective of the beginning of a speech is to get attention. What are the 5 steps? If we want to take some notes here. It's nothing new. We have it in psychology books. We have it in marketing books. We have it in speech books as well. AITDA. Right? These are 5 steps. AITDA. A stands for attention. I stand for interest. T stands for trust. AIT. Attention, interest, trust. Say again. Attention, interest, trust. So, but that's 3, right? Attention, interest, trust. AIT, D. D for desire. A for action. So there you go. AITDA. Attention, interest, trust, desire, and action. Across these 5 will be more than enough to cover a speech. We start a speech with drawing attention. We go on with a speech with making people interested in us because we are interesting. And we ourselves are, of course, very interested. We go through the middle of our speech, making people trusting what we are saying. And as we near the end of a speech, we want them to feel like they're being part of something important. And that's creating the desire. Now, desire is just desire. It is plus, it's minus, it's desire to do something. The do something is called action. So we talk about a speech at the end must have a call to action. What do you want us to do? Oh, we want you to stand up and be kind to animals, because that is the only way for us to really come closer to our humanity and discover the better version of ourselves, which always has been there, except concealed by our incessant thirst for more things, material. Okay. So you call to action. What you want to do is say, let's do this for ourselves. Immediately get out of home. Yeah. Go to the roadside and look at any stray animals and pick them home. Bathe them, feed them. Oh, okay. Well, there is a call to a certain action. So you got it? You got it? The 5 steps of our questions now. Because I'm focusing on questions. We're using questions to capture attention. That's one. We're using questions to trigger interest. We are using questions to build trust. We're using questions to prompt a certain desire to come with you to do something. We're using questions to prompt an action. It's prompt an action. So if you're a salesman selling luxurious cars now, you just want people to stand up to you and say that, have you wondered how best to capture someone's attention in 7 seconds? Drive past with a Maserati. Maybe that's the question. That's the answer to the question. So we grab some attention first, right? If now you're on the road and there's a big sports car like the newest Maserati zipping by, it gets your attention because it stands out. So we want our question to stand out. And what we had just now was a provocative question. Let's go on. I would like to at least cover the ground before I end the half an hour tonight, only to reiterate and or advance these thoughts and recommendations this Saturday as well as this Sunday. So do come back. This Saturday and this Sunday, same where you are, you find me here today at 9:30. Tonight we start at 10:30, it's a Wednesday. The next session will be Saturday. The next session will also be this Sunday, 9:30 p.m. Okay, now that we have started with grabbing your attention, now that I got your attention with a provocative question, what do? The next thing I want to do is to pique your interest. We want you to not just, oh, okay, some guy is speaking, there's attention, but it looks like there's something interesting about it. Okay, I want to listen more. Yeah, that's getting interested. So what do? Now, typically we can use rhetorical questions. What is a rhetorical question? Okay, let's consider one. Have you ever wondered why some people seem to have all the luck? Hey, yeah, I'm reminded. Let me share a story. During my junior college times, I was small, skinny, I was just dark. Nobody noticed me. I had no luck with the girls there. But there was a time in which I thought I want to command some attention from the girls in my junior college where I attended so many years ago. I can clearly remember that I had that desire, but I never had captured their attention. So if I ask you this question now, have you ever wondered why some people seem to have all the luck? Does it not set you thinking? Does it not set you thinking? And yeah, and what's the pain there? Or the point of interest is that that's not me. But I know of someone or some people who have all the luck. So tell me, this is a rhetorical question. Have you ever wondered why some people have all the luck? It's not really a question. It is projected as a question, presented as one, but it's actually a rhetorical question, a question that answers itself. The answer is always yes. Have you ever wondered? Yes. It doesn't have a no. Because of the way the question is asked, and it's slanted one way. It is slanted one way. So this Saturday or this Sunday when I come back, let me just share with you some of the famous people, like Obama, like Martin Luther King, but maybe you even. So I welcome you when you next come onto my live stream and more importantly my Zoom, because the priority goes to the Zoom. To come with a speech, be it 1 minute, 2 minutes, not more than 7 minutes, all right? Come prepared. Come prepared using stories, using questions, or any other techniques you use for you to break into a speech, to get people's attention and even to get interest. So now, in order to pick the interest, typically we can use rhetorical questions, okay? Use that. Because we want to get people, hey, pay attention, someone is talking, okay? And stay engaged with us. So rhetorical questions is again something to make them think, but they can only think in one way. And the answer to this question, have you ever wondered why some people seem to have all the luck? Your answer in your heart is yes. I encourage the audience to ponder and stay connected with our message. We are channeling them. Yes, we are channeling them into the core of my speech. To notice that when you place provocative questions and rhetorical questions in the beginning of your speech, in the first minute, usually, for a 7-minute speech, the first minute, you realize that you have half the battle won. And we want that. We want that. 好的开始，成功的一半。We want that. Half the battle won. And then what's next? Now that you have the attention and you have triggered the interest, let's build the trust. So we want to establish credibility in trust. Right? And by asking questions that lead the audience to our expertise. Yes, believe that you have the expertise. You have the expertise. You gotta have that. Yeah. And it doesn't matter who, so long as you're giving the speech, you are the expert in that moment of that subject. So let's think of this question. Why? Why? See? Why? The question usually starts with why, who, when, how, the 5W1H. Fair enough? Why do you think 90% of startups fall within the first year? So someone is talking about a subject now. We ask the questions, hey, give me the reason why. Why do you think 90%, 9 out of 10 startups fail in the first year? So it begs a question. And chances are we don't have a definitive answer, though we are interested to know. So we're looking up to someone who can tell us why. And that someone is in the position to command trust. Because the answer is expected to be built on credibility. You need to have credible sources like facts, research, particularly of your own. And you'll follow up with certain insights that only an experienced person would know. And by so doing, by providing this insight, you solidify your authority on a subject. AIT, T for trust. The more information and especially insights we can offer onto a subject, it makes you an authority. Our mind is wired to trust authority. So today, I'm sharing with you how to do a speech properly. If I want to establish my authority, what do I want to do? How many speeches do you think a person has to make before he's authorized? He is qualified to teach people how to speak. Then you're left to answer the question. I'll say we will need 1,000 speeches and or 10,000 hours of speech. And that is backed by research saying that if you work at something intently, time after time, by the time you reach your 10,000 hour, you become an expert in it. So there's a principle backing it. And I happen to have reached that. No, I've doubled that. Now, over the last 5 years, delivering no fewer than 1,000 speeches rather. So you do that, right? You use the facts and figures to establish your authority on a subject like this. So let me ask you, how many hours do you think I have spent on stage, off stage, to bring me to where I am today? So make people think about how trustworthy Terry is at this hour of the day, giving a half an hour sharing, and the time is almost up. So we go on, all right? We go on and we talk about A, attention, I, interest and trust for T. We talk about AITDA. Right now, A and I and T have been done. What shall we talk about desire and action? I will save it for tomorrow. No, I'll save it for the next session. This Saturday, 9:30. And if we need more time, we'll go into this Sunday, 9:30 p.m. as well. At least today, if I may just sum up, we have done this. In half an hour, we have talked to fellow learners and Toastmasters like Zhuxian. We have also talked to people in this live stream here that all of us want to be a better speaker because they help us communicate better with people. And by so doing, become a better leader. This is to realize and discover or rediscover a better version of ourselves. With this in mind, to become a better person, we focus on speaking. And with speaking, we need to grapple with certain things, like forgetting what to say, like fearing that people don't pay attention to us, like being confident and interested to go on and on. So we talk about certain ways of doing it. Stories? Yeah, we did. And today we talk about questions. Questions. And what do we want questions for? We want questions to get us and guide us into a speech. A speech of 1 minute, a speech of 7 minutes, or even longer, they have certain parts, the beginning, the middle, and the end. In the beginning, we want to grab attention because people could be distracted to other things. So imagine we're in a hall like this at the back behind me like this, and the people could be playing with their phone or talking to one another. I need to get their attention. Can I use questions to do that? Yes. How many of you find that public speaking is scary to you? People respond. Yeah, people respond. I mean, how many of you are worried if I tell you that all you know about success is actually wrong? What if what you know about success is actually wrong? They will sit up and say, okay, they'll put his phone aside, they'll end this conversation with the neighbor, and they'll just say, yeah, what if? You got something to say? They pay you attention. That will give us a means to advance. You may want to use stories to continue or with another question. Why? To pick more attention. Make the attention into A to become I. I for interest. I for interest. So let's recollect what are the questions that can pick more interest. They tend to be the kind of questions that self-answer. They are called rhetorical questions. Have you ever wondered why some people have all the luck? They just can capture and enthrall an audience. Yeah, of course, I've always wondered because I want to be one, but I'm not sure if I'm getting any closer. I want to be. So the interest is there. Yeah, so it looks like you have something to share. And people are likely to have their body language demonstrated in a manner that kind of move forward to you. That's great. That's why you're gaining ground. You have achieved attention, you have achieved interest. So tonight, to end, I will end with summarizing trust, and I'll leave desire and action come Saturday, 9:30 p.m. here. So with trust, we want to establish ourselves as the person authorized and capable and expert in talking about this. We want that. The question I shared just now is, why? It's not how many of you, it's not who among you, it's not what if, but why? Why do 90% of the speeches that people make fail in the first minute? Are we talking about you? Are we talking about the speeches that you have heard? But we're definitely talking about something you are interested to find out. And when we ask why do 90% of the speeches fail in the first minute, you're going to find out more. And because I'm asking the why, you're looking to me and say, yeah, tell me why. And when I tell you some insights, I can say something like this, like in a day, globally, no more than 5 million speeches will be made on the stage like this. At the same time, as you speak now, across all the time zone. And 90% of such speeches fail in the first minute. Research has shown that in the first 7 seconds, if you're unable to capture the attention of the audience, you lose them. And it's very hard. You need to work doubly hard in the next 14 seconds to get them back. And you need to be a lot more interesting than you think you are. And if you still not do that, excuse me, that's not intended. To get an interest within 20 seconds, then you have a problem. You're going to lose them. So you're left with just half a minute to make them see you as the guy who have the answers to their problems. Essentially, if you are unable to get attention in the first 7 seconds, get enough interest in your favor in the ensuing 14 seconds, you are left with just about half a minute to let them look up to you as the authority. It gets harder. It gets harder. And if by the end of the first minute, they don't even look up to you as someone who can feed them with more than the ensuing speech, you lose them. You lose most of the people, and that is why 90% of the speeches fail in the first minute, because we do not prioritize enough to like, hey, get your attention. And how do we get attention? We get attention not by introducing ourselves. Hey, hello, I'm Terry. I'm very qualified and I'm very honored to be here. No, people don't pay attention to that. People pay attention to, you need to ask them a question, because we are all wired to respond to questions. And just get the questions for attention first. Follow up with something that's interesting. So what if everything you know about success is wrong? Really? You got my attention now. So what's up? Have you ever wondered, why do some of these speech makers command respect? Yeah. The rhetorical questions make you interested. Yes, I'm listening. Tell me more. I do wonder that. And follow up with something to build trust now. Why? On the other hand, do 90% of the speeches failed in the first minute? And give that insight. We got to do that, right? We feed them with an insight and people buy it and say, okay, I got you. Yes, I think you make sense. As soon as they think that you make sense, great. And I'm going to, having done this summary, invite you to show up here with me at 9:30 this Saturday and 9:30 this Sunday, because I then will move ahead with what to do with the attention, the interest, and the trust that people have now with us. We want to convert them into a desire to come with you. And in order to come with you, you need to guide them into the final action. What is the action? The call to action. Buy things, sign up for the course, clap, shake hands with someone beside you. All these are actions. They need to have a desire to come with you. Then they will do the action. All right. So with that, thank you very much, people. Now may be a good time. If you find that I am interesting enough, you find that you trust me enough to guide you and solve some of the issues you face in public speaking, then you would like to know my name. My name is Terry Lee. I am a fellow Toastmasters of yours. I'm very interested in public speaking, and I devote some of my time to translate my public speaking into emceeing, into being a public relations consultant. And I offer my services to corporates and to business owners, and even to individuals who like to improve the way they speak in Mandarin or in English. And for that, of course, I charge. Meanwhile, have a very good evening here, because I don't charge you for this. This is my offer to our fellow Toastmasters. This is the 4th of 9 sessions, and I'm glad to be here. And with that, I want to thank Zhisian. And if you have questions, by all means, ask me questions. I'm able to expand this part. See you at the next session. Indeed, Zhisian, I will keep it to half an hour. Today, we extend about 10 minutes. And so thank you for being here. I shall end the Zoom first. I will see you next. Bye-bye, Zhisian.